Welcome to my career development page. Below you will see my career development plan text if you in fact need to look at any specific information that I have said. I will use video to explain my reasoning for my career development plan. Based on what I have learned and discussed in this class, I want to learn more about the experimental ideas about teaching students in a classroom setting. I am one who does not like to discuss politics in a classroom because I believe it to be a detriment to the overall learning process. The philosophy side of things, I want to learn about different ideas and how I can use those ideas for each specific lesson plan I give in a classroom and how this can envelop a child's will to learn. I believe public education is a lot more meaningful than just most people think. I believe that teachers must be highly qualified to teach certain subjects and have the will to teach. As in an interview, I think people who want to become teachers should sit in a classroom, have the classroom controlled so that certain issues can arise and see how the teacher reacts to the issue. I believe this to be a very effective manner to try to figure out who should be a teacher and who shouldn't. I will use also resources and co-workers to help me gain the necessary knowledge to become fit as a teacher. This will allow me to learn more information about teaching. When I was in my practicum, I noticed that the teacher uses real-life situations for learning in a math environment. He uses business situations to help the students learn certain targets, and by using this plan, I believe can actually help a student pass more than one at a time. I would like to learn more about how to gain ideas to make students more motivated to learning the material. One thing that I found to be a great way, the students learned how to budget money by using equations and find out profit and expenses. This helps the students learn more about the real world and gives them a step ahead to learning those lifelong tasks. I will continue to discuss these means with the teacher and use some of his skills in my classroom, and I think that would be a good way to do it. I will also try to observe other classrooms, primarily science-based. I believe this would help me out based on the whole fact that I would be teaching science. This would allow me to see how a student-led science classroom is ran and how the teacher uses his or her skills to teach the students. As I move on to another institution, primarily maybe Metro State, I think continuing my education there would be a great idea. I want to focus on implementing a style of learning that will use hands-on learning. Since science is very much empirically and fact-based, I want to know how I can manipulate the content in a way that would satisfy the students and the will to learn. Coming from a science background, I have found certain teachers sit in front of the classroom and just talk the entire time while students just sit and take notes, sometimes fall asleep, a lot of times they're on Facebook and texting. It's just not beneficial. So this is something that I would want to get away from. Physics and chemistry, those are tough classes to teach as well as learn. I want to be able to make sure the students are comfortable and are not intimidated when they come into the classroom by thinking there's a no-win situation. I've had teachers who come into the classroom, say you need to get this X amount in order to pass my class. So that's what I think. In my first few years of teaching, what I'd like to do is I want to strongly focus on group work with my students. I truly believe that if students are given the opportunity to work together, I think that they are able to come up with different ideas and eventually find their ways to a specific solution. Like Mom always said, two heads are better than one. I believe it is more beneficial to the student if they understand how to get an answer rather than getting the right answer right away and not knowing how they reach that point. I mean, you've been in class sometimes where you sat there and thought, I got the right answer, but I don't know how I got there. This is something I want to focus on because when a student figures out they can handle the body of the material, it is better for them in the fact that they become more confident in their work and mistakes do decrease. I've seen it. This will allow the student to be prepared come test time and use those skills that they learned during group work to get through the test. Because I truly believe that if a student has group work experience, they'll use those tools that they learned to figure out how to answer the test. After a few years on the job, I would like to have the possibility to teach at the college level. I do not think I'd make a very efficient administrator because as an administrator you must deal with a whole bunch of problems when it comes to students, parents, faculty members, and just overall just a mess. And I don't think that I would be very beneficial to that job just for the fact that I am a person who does not like confrontation. And if given the opportunity, I think that I'd make a great college level professor. I want to do some. I also would like to do research as well. That's one main reason why. But if I have this goal, I believe I can make a huge difference in the lives of students as well as myself by having the satisfaction of knowing I tried my best in the field of teaching. This would allow me to just move on and teach students and be able to have a hands-on work. There are certain goals that I want to set for myself because along with students, we are lifelong learners. Without goals, how can we know where to go? I will start by probably writing goals for each year and then see how well I did, whether it be helping a student who is going through a rough time in their personal lives, helping a student who has never done well in a certain subject, creating a confidence level to where they enjoy class that they probably thought was pointless or just really just flat out didn't like. I mean, honestly, if I could get a student who hated science and get them to love it and maybe possibly want to major in it in college, then I've done my job. I want to be able to teach these students education. Education is key. But I also want to teach them about life, morals and values, developing social and personal skills to help them achieve their goals when they move on to the college level, just that in that kind of nature. Goals can be changed at any point in time. I mean, people change their goals all the time. Look at a New Year's resolution. That could be something that people could use. If I'm able to help at least one student at any point in time, I've done my job. If I'm able to help at least one student who thought that they could not be successful and have the thought to go to college, then that's pretty good because you have a lot of these low-income schools, mid to low-income schools who really don't have the chance and who don't think that they're eligible or smart enough to get into these colleges. That's what they're programmed in their mind, and that's what we want to get away from. But the goal is to help many and continue the process and hope the student I help will try to help another. And if I can create that web pattern to where if I help one student, they help another, that student helps two more, then you know what? Then overall, I've benefited society and I've helped man. And I think that would be a great idea to instill into my students and to myself as an educator. But I think overall, my main goal will be to help students educationally, socially, personally, and most importantly, grow as people. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing a student move on and knowing that you've helped them and watch them grow into something that they may not have thought it was possible. I live my life by trying to help other people before me, and I believe if I use that philosophy, I will have a successful and good life as an educator and as a person. Just because we all know that by being a good person and helping others, you create a better job for yourself and you get a lot of things. If you help someone, more than likely they'll help you. Thanks for viewing my career development plan. I hope you liked it. If you have any other information or would like to go back to a certain area in which I discussed, feel free to do so right below. Thank you.